know how good a movie is from everyone talking about it that you brave through going with your allergies to go see this movie. And I can't help but smile through the whole entire thing. Hey guys, it's nighttime and if I sound funny, it's because I've been affected by winter allergies mixed with my sinuses, so apologies in advance. I'm not my normal talking self at the moment, but I had to brave through it because Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse came out over this past weekend. I saw it today on Monday, the 17th, at the time of this recording. I had to find someone to watch it and see it. I was busy through both my jobs over the whole weekend, and everyone's like, oh, you gotta see this. This is amazing. Oh, you gotta love it. Oh, it's a wonderful. Please say during the credits, all that. I'm like, please don't spoil it. I haven't seen it yet. I finally seen it. I'm gonna do non-spoilers in the part of the beginning of this, and then I'm gonna talk about spoilers afterwards. So when the spoiler tag pops up, I will let you know. Hopefully it's something different. Again, apologies if I sound hard and if I'm gonna be drinking water through this because I am going through allergies and I don't know if I'm sick or not, so yay. For non-spoilers, basically this is a great film. I think this is my favorite all-time animated movie of the year. Not even that. It's now in my top 10 list of best animated films that I love. I'm not kidding. This was wonderful. This was not only a well-told origin story, but a wonderful crossover event. And it just makes me super happy seeing this. I can tell you right now, I could not stop smiling through the whole entire thing, and I kept on going through all the characters. Oh, you precious cineroles. Oh my god. Oh, fuck. Everything. I do mean everything. I kept on going through this or the movie. There weren't a lot of people in my theater because I went to a matinee. But it was just nice seeing like a little boy in front of me with his dad. Just kept pointing at the screen and kept getting excited. So I'm kind of grateful that this movie is going to be wonderful for kids, for Spider-Man, for as an introduction not only to Miles Morales, but all the other Spider-Man there are. And the concept of multiverses, which kids don't get to see that in comics, but it's kind of grateful I get to see it here. I know right away people are wondering how I got introduced to Spider-Man. Well, I kind of got introduced to liking Spider-Man through Spider-Girl. I loved reading Spider-Girl on MC2 universe. That was my first introduction to multi-universes, and I had so much fun with it. It was the first time I actually got to learn about the characters, see Mayday grow and become something great and wonderful. I lost out when it finishes 100 issues, and I could never get back. Especially because I know that Joe Quesada actually destroyed her series, and then she came back in the Spider-Verse comic book event, but also destroyed her in that too. And I'm mad how they destroyed her in that, because she's one of my favorites. She was my introduction to Spider-Verse, so I'm kind of a little annoyed at that. But I also know about all the other characters because I had a Spider-Man encyclopedia book that told of all the different Spider-Man from different universes or spin-offs and all that jazz, and so I kind of knew some of them. The most was Spider-Ham, which I love John Mulaney. John Mulaney made me happy in this. I will tell you right now, I loved all of the Spider-Man and woman and girl in this. This was wonderful. I loved how they were done. And the animation. I'm still blown away how well this animation is. You forget thinking, you watch it 2D, but then you see the CGI animation and it blows you away. And it's amazing. I love the way how the animation was in this. It felt perfect. This is how animation combined with 2D and CGI should be done. And I also loved how they did the comic book elements in this. This was wonderful. I loved it to bits. I cannot really even talk about the story because a lot of the story is spoilers, which is a lot. I will tell you right now, you have to stay during the end credits for a very funny thing where it's going to be interesting, and also kind of guessing yet since they haven't announced there was going to be a Spider-Verse sequel, which is going to feature Spider-Gwen, Spider-Woman, Silk. I hope Spider-Girl might make an appearance, and maybe we will see Penny Parker, because I will tell you right now, out from all the Spider-Man, I loved all of them, but I think Penny Parker is my favorite one, because she's just a precious child, and I just want to protect her. She's just a little normal human girl who has a psychic link with a spider that gives her powers inside this giant robotic mech, and I'm okay with that. Okay, we're now going to get into spoilers. Be forewarned, and I'm going to take some water for myself as It counts down a bit. Okay. Are we good? Okay. We're good. So, some of us know about Miles Morales' origin story. He comes from the Ultimate Universe in the comic books where his Peter Parker died. Well, here's the thing. We're not in the Ultimate Universe. We're in its own Miles Morales' universe. Spider-Man is alive in this one. Then Miles gets his powers. He gets bit by a spider. I can guess comes from a different universe because it kind of glitched as though it came from another universe. He encounters his Spider-Man, who's trying to stop Kingpin from doing this time complex machine where because Kingpin wants to bring back his wife and son. I'm going to talk about that in a bit, from a different universe back into his own. And then Miles meets him, and Spider-Man saves him. The machine activates, but Spider-Man sticks his head in, and it causes a chain reaction to have some select Spider-Man or woman come into this universe because mainly to stop Kingpin. Also because Spider-Man stuck his head in it by accident, but it caused a chain reaction, which was, I kind of liked how they did that. But then this Spider-Man, he gets killed by Kingpin, smashed. Like, when I'm like, okay, there's the Miles' origin. He saw Spider-Man killed. This cannot get well. And it's just like in the comics for Miles' origin. Spider-Man is dead. It's been revealed Peter Parker is Spider-Man. And this Spider-Man was, Peter Parker was blonde, which is, I'm okay with that choice because it makes each Spider-Man their own different uniqueness and their own style. But it causes a lot of heartbreak for everybody, and it's crazy. And then Miles is also trying to figure out how to do his own powers. He knows he's completely different from the original Spider-Man. He can stick to walls, he has super strength, he can turn invisible and has electroshocks, which I didn't know he could turn invisible, or the electroshocks, which I don't know if that's in the comics, but I actually kind of like that little neatness of it. But also Miles is struggling because he's a teenager, he's 14, trying to struggle with being in a new school and all these powers. And then he's trying to figure himself out. He comes across, oh my god, people call him Hobo Spider-Man, and yeah, that's not stretching it, because that's actually kind of true. He encounters a older Peter Parker, probably in his 40s or 50s, who's been doing Spider-Man for 20 years, and a lot happened in his universe. He fought villains, he married MJ, he lost Aunt May, and then him and MJ got divorced. And this Peter went through a big, huge depression. He gained weight. He is very upset because in this universe, MJ wanted to have kids, and Peter didn't know how to commit to that because he was fighting crime. He didn't want to probably didn't want to put kids into danger if his enemy discovered his identity, which has kind of happened in a couple occasions of that. So it goes out saying that it kind of left him broken, and it shows a bit, but he also is kind of like, he was brought into this universe and he becomes a lot of a mentor to Miles, to teach Miles how to be Spider-Man. And also, it's kind of also an arc for this Peter Parker, or I'm just going to call him Hobo Parker because it makes it so much easier. It makes it easier for him because it teaches him how to be an actual father and try and actually get himself to move on and try and change himself for the better, which comes at the very end when he goes back to his universe and goes to Mary Jane's doorbell with flowers to try and make up and try and fix this before it's like too late or further gone from it. Which I like, we don't end up with what's going to happen with that, which is cool. I also kind of like that they didn't even bring up Mephisto, because in the original comics Mephisto actually broke Parker and Hobo Parker and MJ's marriage. So I'm actually kind of grateful they didn't do that. They just got divorced because Hobo Parker couldn't commit to being a dad because of his crime fighting abilities. So I kind of like that. Also, it's kind of weird that he just sleeps in a suit all day. It's like he's just Spider-Man. I think this is like the version of, that he was like, yeah, I'm basically Spider-Man all the time. And then during the course of it, the original Spider-Man from in Miles' universe gave Miles a hard drive, that had external hard drive that, basically USB drive. I don't know why I say external, but it's a USB drive that has a encryption that would reverse the time machine. And fortunately Miles breaks it when he's trying to practice being Spider-Man, and so they had to find a way to fix it. So Miles and Hobo Parker go to, this is just funny, they go to the Hudson Valley, which to a corporation of the scientist who makes this device. I can't remember her name at the moment because it doesn't matter because I know who she is. She's the scientist you see in the trailers examining Hobo Parker a bit, and I thought she was just going to be a minor character because they didn't reveal much of the plot on this, and I went in being super excited. They go in, and they're getting the external hard drive from her computer, and all of a sudden, like, she straps, Hobo Parker is a distraction while Miles, who Scar T could turn invisible, tries to get the external out, and it's become a twist that the female scientist, she's Olivia Octavius, also known as Dr. Octopus. I was really fangirling in the theater so much. I did not know that Doc Ock, female Doc Ock, the daughter of Otto Octavius, was going to be in this movie. I was super excited. I loved how she looked. I loved how her four robotic arms were. They were wonderful. They were like rubbery and it's like a Vam's tat. I loved her design so much. She was my favorite. And I did see other villains in there too. Like, I knew about the Prowler. I didn't know about Tombstone. I love they kept that Tombstone is Kingpin's security guard. So he was there. I saw their version of Scorpion, which was so cool. And this is Scorpion that knew Spanish, so I kind of liked that this one's different, but I knew who he was. It made me, and also, we saw the Goblin. We saw the Green Goblin, but he's dead. He got crushed by the debris of the time machine in the beginning against Spider-Man, which, hey, I'm okay with that. It means no more Green Goblin. Miles was against to face Green Goblin. I'm okay with that. It kind of means that, yeah, we're not, it's like they dropped the boulder saying, yeah, we're not doing any fights with Spider-Man and Green Goblin anymore. It's dead. No more. A lot of the shots for them swinging and fighting were well choreographed. I've never been impressed by a movie that did it this well. I think since well-crafted fighting choreography in Ruby, the Rooster Teeth in the first 2 seasons of Online, those had well-crafted fight scenes. And this one has so many wonderful crafted fight scenes and everything is cinematic. Every shot is wonderful in this film. Especially, they made a fight scene in the forest wonderful. And it's then after they managed to fight against Lady Ock, Gwen appears. It turns out Gwen was affected by the time machine, by the time multiverse machine. And she was brought into our universe, but she was sent back a week earlier than expected. So Miles didn't meet her in the beginning because she had a sense that she had to go to school, then Miles just got to. And of course counter Miles, and there's a reason in the trailer why she has that nice haircut, which I think looks super cool. It's because when Miles just got bit the day after, he accidentally tried hitting on Gwen, but his hand got stuck in her hair. Gwen had to get part of her hair cut off where Miles' hand was to get unstuck, and so she had to get a new haircut because of it. And I kind of like the way Gwen was here. They actually, one thing neat I gotta tell you right now is how they introduced like the backstories quickly with some of the characters. They did it in comic book. Like, okay, this is the last time I'm gonna do this story. Okay, this is the last time. This is the last time I'm gonna tell this. It told each of their origins a nice quick way, which was not bad. This is easy. I kind of like they hit Gwen's story that she fought the lizard, and it turned out to be Peter Parker, and she lost her best friend. I like that. I also did the same with Spider-Man War, Penny Parker, and Spider-Ham. They actually tried doing all 3 at the same time, which I liked it. It was funny, but I also kind of wish I could hear each one too, because I thought it would be cool, but I knew they were going to drag the movie on if they did that again, which sucked because I loved each one. I didn't know with Spider-Man War, he comes from comes from World War II, where he fights Nazis in the face. I love him. It was wonderful. And I just love I kind of got spoiled by one line my friend Aaron said about the match. I just want to watch. I just let a match watch until it tries to burn my hand. I'm like, wow. I didn't think Nicolas Cage could do it, but I loved him. Why can't we have him voice acting for more parts like this? It's wonderful. I loved it. I loved Spider-Ham because it was John Mulaney. I love the way they animated him. It was wonderful. It was so cool. And it was nice to see like a 2D little spider here, like 2D cartoon character in the 3D world. Same thing with Penny Parker. She's just so adorable and sweet. I loved her. And it was just wonderful. Though, of course, during the course of it, there's a cool, wonderful moment where they got the hard drive, and so there's only one place they could go for stationery, and that is Aunt May's house, where this Aunt May is alive. But Peter's like, first, the Hobo Peter's like, I don't want to do this because his Aunt May died. But surprisingly, right away, she knew what was going on because she hosted Spider-Man Noir, Penny Parker, and Spider-Man all came to her because they probably do have an Aunt May in their own. And what they meet with this Spider-Man Miles' universe, he had a little secret shed that was like a TARDIS, kind of, where it was a spider lair. It was like Batman, kind of, but I kind of like this one so much more. There was and Aunt May knew that Peter was Spider-Man. I loved that she knew. She was wonderful. She was supportive and caring. And it was just, I loved it. I love this version of Aunt May. It's wonderful and incredibly sweet, and I like that she knew what was going on and wanted to help them get back to their own world. She was very smart, and I like that. Also, when Miles went back to that lair because he wanted a new suit, she was like, I knew you were gonna come, and I'm like, oh, let Aunt May be the supportive grandmother for Miles. It would make so much sense if Miles got another movie. That Aunt May would basically, I know it would be like, oh, Miles is Batman and Aunt May is, oh my god, remember the butler's name at the moment? I can't think of them at the moment. Alfred. It was Alfred. But I actually kind of like Aunt May being the supportive grandmother role, but also helping Miles out as he's with Spider-Man, being actually keeping up with tech for Miles, letting him use some of the vehicles when he gets older. It would make a lot of sense, and I love it so much. Also, I mentioned earlier that there was a Prowler in this movie. If you know in the Ultimate Comics and history, the Prowler is Uncle Aaron, Miles' uncle, and he works for the Kingpin. And the Kingpin has to find the kid, Miles, who stole the flash drive. And there was a moment where they're at Aunt May's house because Miles accidentally was followed. And all the Spider-Man are fighting Aunt May's house, which is wonderful because they're all in a tight space. They're trying to fight, all of them. And Prowler has Miles by the neck. Miles unmasks himself, and Uncle Aaron does the same. And Fisk is like, Kingpin's like, why don't you shoot him? And Prowler, he backs off. He doesn't want to kill his nephew, so Kingpin shoots him. I'm not joking. Kingpin shoots Prowler. Miles takes him to the alleyway, and he loses his uncle. It's a weird trend that some Spider-Men have to lose an uncle, but it was revealed in this movie that the other Spider-Man had lost something different. Yeah, Hobo Parker and the Parker Spider-Man in this universe, they both lost their Uncle Ben. Gwen lost her best friend. Penny lost her father, which that has to be heartbreaking. I think Spider-Noir, I think he said he lost his lover or brother. I can't remember at the very top of my head. And then Spider-Man was just like, we all can't save all the people we love. And I'm just like, you don't want to save who you lost, you sweet little hand. There's a moment in the movie where they all try and like, okay, we're all going to go to Universe. Miles, you're just going to stay here because you don't have control of your powers yet. But Miles wants to do it because he's this precious emerald who wants to help them out. And there's a moment after his dad finds out that his brother died. There's a talk while Miles is tied up with spider webbing. Because Hobo Parker's like, you're staying here, I'm going to web you up. And where Miles is able to use his electric powers, he goes to get his new costume. He spray paints his costume, original Spider-Man costume, and spray paints it. Which is very symbolic because that was the thing that he did with his uncle. But it's also symbolic to show that this is a different Spider-Man, that he is unique. And I love that so much. And it showed the leap of faith. The leap of faith was something that was shown for every introduction of each spider person. And it was their leap of faith that made them who they are as a hero. And Miles does this just like we saw in the teaser trailer last year. The teaser trailer was the reason I wanted to see this movie. And it was wonderful and perfect. It was so precious. All the Spire people, minus Miles, go to the Kingpin's tower. Fisk Tower. Oh, I keep forgetting Fisk Tower is a thing. I'm remembering a lot of my Spider-Man knowledge right now, so bear with me. They go to Fisk Tower because it's going to be, the machine's right underneath it. And Fisk is holding, Kingpin's holding a party and celebrating Spider-Man. And the waiters are dressed in suits with a Spider-Man mask, and all the Spider people look at each other like, it can't be that hard. You all put bow ties on themselves, and then Penny Parker and her robot underneath a little conveyor table, robot bottling it and eating snacks inside Spider-Ham's underneath the dome. So they go to the machine, and they're about to put the USB drive in when they realize it was set up a trap. They knew they were going to be coming, and so a whole entire fight breaks out while the machine's going. And you know why Kingpin wanted this machine to work? Why he wanted to go into go there to a different universe and literally collapse this universe onto itself? To do it? Well, there's a moment where we learn that this Kingpin has a family. He had a wife and a son. And when there was a moment he was about to kill Spider-Man where his wife and son walked in on him, they left, and in the course of leaving, they got into a car accident and died. So Kingpin blames Spider-Man for that, but he wants to bring his wife and son back. And he thinks the only way he can do that is by taking his wife and son from a different universe. That raises so much in that, because they're not going to be from your universe, they're going to be from someone else's universe. You're going to literally steal another Kingpin's wife and son just because you lost your own. This is a man who can't go through grieving. He's willing to split he's willing to destroy the universe just to have his wife and son back. That's a lot to take in there. It's very diabolical. It's why Kingpin is one of the more diabolical and evil of the Spider-Man villains out there. And I actually liked how this was handled to drive it. Also, last time we really saw Kingpin in any Marvel medium was the Daredevil live action movie. I've not seen the Marvel Netflix series. I know he's in that, but I have not seen that, so I don't know how his portrayal is. But that was the last time I saw the Kingpin. And I love that portrayal of the Kingpin too in that movie. But this one was so much more. I loved it so much. The whole entire fight climax takes place as buildings from different universes are coming in, and the buildings in their universe are being mixed in and all that. It's wonderfully done. There's so many fights going on that blend well together. This is the wonderfully this actually shows how well the animation is in this movie, and I loved it to bits. And there's like points here and there. Spider-Man fights Scorpion. There's a moment where Penny loses her robotic buddy that was built by her father, and so she has to take the spider that she has a link to out of it and leave the body behind. She gets heartbroken because that's the last thing her father made before he died, and it's so sad. I just want to give her a hug. And then there's like fights going with Lady Ock in the mix, and there's a moment where like Gwen with Hope Parker and Miles like, okay, this is gonna be a long fight, we're gonna do this, and Doc Ock is coming towards them, gets hit by a truck, and Gwen's like, well, that didn't take long. I weirdly was laughing in the theater from that. That was wonderfully done. And then they get the disc in and starts to reverse the polarities, and Miles managed to make it where each one gets into their own time, their own universe. So all of them go back to the universe, so that way Miles could face the Kingpin, because the Kingpin is pissed off. He is mad that Spider-Man destroyed his plan and wants to kill him. He almost does that, but in the destroyed control panel, Miles' father is there and tells him Spider-Man not to give up, not knowing that it's his son. Because back when Miles' uncle died, he brought him to Alley. His dad came to the crime scene because his dad's a cop, and that Spider-Man, the new Spider-Man, which is Miles, killed his brother. But he realizes during like the control panel, hearing Kingpin saying everything about his wife and everything, and seeing Kingpin Fisk, who probably has like a good reputation in this universe, trying to be discreet, being a greedy kingpin in the underworld, revealing that he probably did kill the Prowler, and revealing his plans. And Miles' dad's just telling him not to give up, and Miles uses his electric powers to send Kingpin away into the control panel to shut it off. But before that, Kingpin is fighting Miles on a subway train, and it's at that moment that different manifestations of his wife and son appear from different universes, asking him what he's doing, why is he holding Spider-Man up, and they all run away, and he's just like, I don't know, don't leave me, and I'm just like, you did this to yourself. This is what happens, and they all go away. But this is what happens when he does it himself, when he cares more about his empire but loses sight of his family. And when he tries to get his family back, he loses them again. So he can't have what he wants, unfortunately. And it sucks. At the very end of the movie, Miles becomes the new Spider-Man. He gets a little origin, and we also get little brief glimpses of all the other spider people around. Penny Parker is working on a new robotic Buddy, which is wonderful. Spider-Man Noir, there's one thing I've left off with him. At Aunt May's house, he was fiddling with a Rubik's Cube. And right before he left, he was like, I'm going to take this cube with me. It holds so many secrets. And I'm just like, it's the most colorful thing in his universe. And when it gets to him, he finally solved the Rubik's Cube. And I'm like, yeah, I'm so happy. And then it shows it shows Spider-Man enjoying a hot dog, which, awesome, but isn't a hot dog also composed of parts of a pig? Cannibalism! They actually hinted at this moment because it also happened in the comics. A possible romance between Spider-Gwen and Miles, because in the comics they did try to get together, but they realized after a bit they couldn't really do it because they're from two different universes. They did go to one universe where they did make it work and had a family, which is all sweet and wonderful. And this, but of course, they might have shown a little bit of romance, but I kind of gratefully didn't go through that in this movie because I kind of like, they gotta start off as friends first. Let them start off as friends first. Then see if you can get through that. But at the very end of it all, Miles is just listening to music in his little dorm, and there's a portal opened up, and Spider-Gwen asks him if he wants to hang, which leads into end credits. In the end credits, we actually get, I was wondering what was happening. I've seen a hologram or something of a girl with heart sunglasses on her saying, hey, the multi-universe theory, it's true, we can make this happen. And when they're saying, have you managed to make the grouper? Which is funny, the grouper was the name of the USB drive that had the stuff on it, and they called the wrist-mounted device a grouper, which will make the person not only able to be stabilized in a different dimension, but make it possible to travel from one universe to another. And it shows Miguel, Spider-Man 2099. And I'm just like, oh my god! I actually was getting very excited. It was just, okay, now it makes sense why Spider-Gwen showed up because she found a way to make it possible to travel from one universe to another through Spider-Man 2099. And which would make sense in her movie, in the second Spider-Verse movie. So I'm very excited about that. Though also it led to a part in the end credits where Miguel, Spider-Man 2099, I'm just gonna call him 2099 to make it easier, where he's like, I'm gonna go all the way back to the beginning. In 1967, he is to the Spider-Man 1967 universe, the original Spider-Man cartoon. And, okay, during this whole, during the end credits, they actually had different memes, or different Spider-Man cameos. There's a moment in the end credits, there's a Spider-Man sitting in the office desk, because that's a meme. There's different Spider-Man here and there. I was able to see the PS4 Spider-Man, Iron Spidey. I just saw different Spideys in the end credits, which made me extremely happy. But this one, I was wondering in the end credits why I saw 1967 Spider-Man. I didn't see that in the movie. Oh, there it is. In the end credits where 2999 pops in 67's universe, and they start pointing at each other like, you're pointing at me! No, you pointed at me first! And one of us like, who pointed at who first? And Joe James is like, Spider-Man pointed first! And there's a pointing war, and I'm like, oh, it's that meme of Spider-Man pointing at himself, and the other one's pointing at him. I got it! It made me laugh, and I'm like, this is just wonderful to boot. And it was great. Oh my god, can't believe I talked so much about this, because I really do enjoy this movie. If I can, I might see it again in theaters, because I rarely have a movie I go to see twice while it's still playing, because this is a film that literally brought a smile to my face. Not only the animation, but the characters. I don't think I hated a single character. I loved all of them, and it's what makes this film great. It really does. And I know it's going to be a long shot, but I really hope that this movie wins an Academy Award, because, dear God, this was great. Wonderful characters, the best animation I've ever seen of this decade. Like, this is something I've said to my friends from seeing the trailers of Spider-Verse. Back when Disney Animation released their short Paper Man, it combined 2D animation with CGI, and everyone loved it, and they're like, can we have a film like this, please? But Disney was like, I don't know, it's going to take years of development, and we're very comfy with our CGI, so I don't know. And then Sony's like, really? Hold my beer. Water. You know what I mean? And Sony dropped the ball big time. I would drop this water, but I'm drinking it right now. And they managed to develop a film where they actually made their own animation rig, that they had to license and patent, that this rig we made, we'll make in this movie. This is our thing. We're not gonna leak it out to anybody. We made this. They made a way to incorporate CGI and 2D animation perfectly. I cannot see any flaws in this movie, how well they did this. It made me super freaking happy, you guys. And keep in mind, this was made by Sony, the same people who, about a year and a half ago, did an Emoji Movie. They're never going to talk about that again. But they made Spider-Verse. And believe me when I say, ever since they released a teaser last year, it's shaping the ground of how animation should be for both CGI and 2D animation. I feel like this is going to be one that's going to really have Disney step up their game with it. Mainly because Disney's gotten a little bit too comfortable with CGI animation, and probably has lost that they can do 2D animation. I mean, I've seen the Get a Horse cartoon. They combine CGI and 2D good, but the CGI still needs to be blended. Like, I kind of like the way they actually went through the 2D and 3D world, but they gotta fix a way to do that, because it kind of feels... the animation kind of felt like that Epic Mickey cart game, by all honesty. So hopefully we'll get something great. I really, really do, because I love Disney animation, but I'm sorry, Disney, you have ceded your place. My favorite film of this year is Into the Spider-Verse. I'm not kidding. And the thing is, I'm saying this right now, when Mary Poppins Returns is literally coming out into theaters this week. And yes, I'm doing a video on that. Am I not going to? I am. And I know I probably rambled on about this movie, but this is a great film. And if you haven't seen Into the Spider-Verse, please, for the love of God, do. It's wonderful. This is the best animation movie I've ever seen this year. And the thing is, I saw Ralph Breaks the Internet, and I loved how they did that for a sequel. There's things that they could fix in that, but they're still good. And this beat it. Like, it beat Ralph Breaks the Internet by 3 notches. Like, guys, seriously. And keep in mind, this year we've had some superhero films. Like, we had Black Panther, beginning of this year. Blew my mind, my favorite superhero film of all time, next to Spider-Verse for this year. Then we had Infinity War, which made everyone feel super freaking depressed. And yes, Aquaman has come out this month. I don't know when I'm going to be able to see it, but I've been hearing it's been good. So hopefully I'll see it sometime. If not, I'll catch it on DVD. And then, like, did Ant-Man and the Wasp really happen? It really did. Wow. I never saw it, but I hear that it's kind of the worst one so far. I'm kind of grateful I dodged a bullet there. Well, I think that's all I have to say today. I can't believe I talked for this long. Well, I sound like this. And believe me, I wanted to film this nightmare short this sometime, guys, but I can't when I sound like this. But for now, I really hope that this video will soften the blow a bit by giving some content. If you want to help support the show, become a Patreon today at patreon.com/nightmareproductions, where you can be like these Patreon producers over here, such as Dr. Zeon, Holly RiddlePanda Smith, Kitty Q, and West or Ty Morgan. I know you are in the comments. Let me know if you want me to call you Ty or West in the comments below, so that way I can fix that up for next time. But here are the Patreon producers. If you want to get that, Patreon description below. If you want to follow me, you can follow me on my Twitter and Instagram in the description as well. If you want to get some cool merch, especially because, like, I know it's too late to get something for the holidays, but if you want to get something for your friends for their birthdays or any other events, you can go to my TeePublic shop and right in the description below as well. And oh, I am working my webcomic like crazy. You can see that also on my Patreon too. And dear God, guys, at the time of this video, I have about to reach 760 subscribers. That's a lot. No, I'm not kidding. This year I only started off with roughly 400. And I'm about to hit 760 for a lot of those that have stuck through me with this. Thank you so very much. You are all wonderful and supportive. And especially being patient as I get a lot of videos out on time. Or in the best as I can. And all that jazz. I will try and possibly do a stream before the year's over. Hopefully when I'm feeling a lot better, because I heard Monster Prom is doing a Christmas update with special stuff, and I might do something fun. So for now, I will see you next video where I will do Mary Poppins Returns. For now, I'm gonna rest up and drink water. Bye.